when you get the deadlock situation, on that time, how to overcome from that. That also controlled by this operating system only. There is no interaction of the user at all. Only thing, the job has to be moved to the CPU. Before moving, it will make the job, related jobs will make a group and then they will process. For which person the data has to be given or for which person the data not supposed to be given. Mainly it will protect the data, it will maintain the backup, all the operations are performed here. Welcome back to one and all. Myself, Vasanta, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today, we are going to start with the third session of software concept. Whereas in the previous session, you come to know regarding the language translator. That is, how to transfer from one level language to another level languages. Under that, you have studied regarding compiler, interpreter as well as assembler. Then, what do you mean by linker as well as loader? Whereas linker combines the modules, whereas loader will load the program to the main memory. Whereas utility software, under that utility software like backup, drive cleaning, antivirus, regarding that you have studied. Then, what do you mean by operating system? It's a mediator between user and computer. And with that, this operating system provides good environment to the user. On today's class, you will come to know regarding the functions of operating system, which are the major functions performed by this operating system. Then types of operating system, under that single user operating system, batch operating system, multi-programming operating system. Multi-programming operating system. Then, which are the major functions of this operating system? It mainly memory management. How much memory the computer having, how to manage that, for which one the memory has to be allocated, for which one or for which job the memory has not to be allocated. All those things are controlled by this operating system. Then process management. How many processes are there, for which one the CPU has to be provided, for which job the memory or CPU not supposed to be allocated. All those can also be performed by this operating system. Device management, file management, protection and security. It will protect your system as well as it will secure your data, everything. By using some authentication, it will secure your data. Then user interface or command interpreter. These are the major functionalities of operating system. Now one by one we'll discuss memory management. What exactly this memory management? On this, how memory management is controlled by this operating system. Consider you have memory, whereas memory is nothing but collection of bytes we used to say. It starts from 0 and at the last whichever element you have, whichever position, the last position, that here it will stores. But here, this when they come on operating system, this mainly controls the allocation of memory or allocation of memory, allocated memory, for which job or for which data memory has to be allocated, for which variable memory not supposed to be allocated, that it will controls. And free memory, after doing the job, after doing the work, that memory can be freed because the same memory can be utilized by other functionalities. For the sake, allocation of memory, deallocation of memory, then reallocate memory to a program when user block is freed. After using that, the same memory can be reallocated for whichever function they need. Then keep track of memory usage. How much memory we have, how much memory it has to be allocated. Mainly, it keep track the overall functionalities of this memory. Already I told you, when you come on functionalities, the memory management it will perform. Like allocation, deallocation, how much memory it has to be allocated. After allocating, how to reallocate or how to deallocate, everything is controlled by this operating system. Next, we will move on process management. What exactly this process management? The activities of process management handled by these operating systems are like control, access to shared resources, files, memory, input, output, and CPU. Mainly, whichever process you have, it will control the overall process, where it may be memory, input, CPU, anything it will controls. Then control execution of application. Which are the applications we have, for which application we have to give higher priority, or for which application we have to give lower priority, that also controlled by this operating system. Create, execute and delete a process. Whichever process we want to create, or whichever process it has to be executed now, and whichever process we have to delete, all those things is controlled by this operating system. Then cancel or resume a process, schedule a process, for which process we have to give the time now, how much time it has to be given, that also controlled by this operating system. Synchronization and communication and deadlock handling for a process. When you get the deadlock situation, on that time, how to overcome from that, that also controlled by this operating system only. When we come on the next one, device management. What do you mean by this device management? The name itself suggesting device. Whichever device in that system we have, all those devices it will controls. Like opening a device, closing, writing, device drives, that operation it will controls. Then communication and controls, monitor the device drivers. Everything, whichever drives you have, all those things, which drive now it has to be open or when it has to be closed, how much time it has to be given, that is also controlled by this operating system, that is device management. Next we will move on, file management. What exactly this file management says that it create, delete both files and directories. Whereas when we come on file management, for which file it has to be allocated the memory, for which file the memory not supposed to be allocated. Mainly, it creates as well as deletes unwanted files as well as directories. Provides access to files, whichever file in that helps to access that files. Allocate space for files, especially for file, how much space it has to be allocated, how long it has to be allocated, that also controlled by this operating system. Keep track of files, how many files are there, how much is deleted, how much space it is required. It mainly controls, keep track of how regarding the files. Then secure the files. These are the few functionalities of file management. Already you come to know regarding memory management. It mainly manages the memory. Then process management, device management as well as file management. Next we will move on protection and security. Whereas this operating system will controls overall operation and it will check the authentication for which person the data has to be given or for which person the data not supposed to be given. Mainly it will protect the data, it will maintain the backup, all the operations are performed here. Like the user authentication, file attributes like read, write, encryption and backup of data are used by this operating system to provide basic protection. Mainly it protects your data, files, everything it will protect. Then user interface or command interpreter. Whereas here operating system provides an interface between the user and the computer hardware. Mainly it acts like a mediator between computer as well as user. It controls all the memory, device, file, process management, everything it will controls. The user interface is a set of commands or a graphics user interface which the user interact with the application and the hardware. Next, when we come on types of operating system, there are several types of operating system like single user operating system, multi-user operating system. multitasking operating system, distributed operating system, network operating system. Like that, several types of operating systems are there. Whereas in the previous session, you come to know regarding operating system. Whereas on this session, you come to know which are the functionalities like memory, device, process, protection, security. All those are the functionalities of operating system. But when they come on types of operating system, the first one, single user operating system. The name itself suggesting single user, only one person at a time we can able to work here. Then batch operating system. It will make a batch group related jobs. It will make a group and then it will process. Batch operating system. Multiprogramming operating system. Multi means more than one. Programming means here job. More than one job at a time it can able to perform, like multitasking operating system, multi-user operating system, time sharing operating system, real-time operating system. And the next one is distributed operating system. Distributed operating system, network operating system, as well as multi-threading operating system. These are the few types of operating systems like single user operating system, batch, multi-user, multitasking, multi-programming, real-time, time sharing, distributed, network, as well as multi-threading operating system. Now one by one we'll discuss regarding, first we'll discuss with single user operating system. Already I told you, single means only one person. Only one person can work at a time. If one more wants to work on the same system, he has to wait until the completion of the first one. Whereas this operating system allows only one user to share the system resources, including the CPU, where the resources may be memory, anything. But at a time, only one person can able to access here. That's why it is called as single user. User means we are the user, the one who uses it. Whereas these are the mainly operating system configured for the use of desktop PC and laptops. These are the few examples for single user operating system. DOS, Windows 95, Windows 98, Apple, etc. are the example for single user operating system. Next, we'll move on batch operating system. What do you mean by this batch operating system? Consider we have CPU. We have, for example, job 1, job 2, job 3. All the three jobs wants to process on the CPU. Whereas in batch operating system, it will make a batches. Whichever jobs having same type of operations, it will make a batch of that and then it will process. That is about batch operating system. For example, consider job 1 wants to process addition. Job 2 also wants to process addition. It will make a group. For example, job 3 wants to process subtraction operation. Related types of job will combine together and then they will process here. In batch operating system, the batch is defined as a group of jobs. See, group of jobs with similar needs and similar resource requirement. Same type of operation, same type of memory when they need, then it will make a group of that and then here it will process. The operating system that allows user to create a batches and execute each batch sequentially. One after the another, each batch will execute sequentially. Sequentially processing all job of batch, considering them as a single process called batch operating system. Main thing you have to remember is related jobs will make a group and then they will process. This is well suitable for the applications with large computation time and no user interaction. Here, user interaction is not required. When we have large computation work or more jobs on that time, this operating system is useful, especially batch operating system is useful. Payroll, forecasting, statistical analysis, etc. are the few examples for batch operating system. When you come on batch operating system, see job 1, job 2, job 3. Whereas operating system will make the batch, related batch, and then it will process on the CPU. That is nothing but batch operating system. Whereas in batch operating system, we have some advantages as well as disadvantages. When they come on advantages, user need not wait during its execution. There is no interaction of the user at all. Only thing, the job has to be moved to the CPU. Before moving, it will make the job. Related jobs will make a group and then they will process. Here, user interaction is not required at all. It will functions in first in, first out order. Whichever job first come, for that job, first priority will be given here. Whichever job come last, for that job, last priority will be given. When they come on disadvantages, non-interactive mode of execution. Already I told you, user interaction is not required. That's why non-interaction mode of execution here it will perform. That also one of the drawback. Offline debugging. IBM System 360 operating system is an example for batch operating system. And in DOS, we can emulate the batch operating using bat files. Next, when we come on multi-programming operating system. Already I told you, multi means more than one. Multi-programming means more than one program can execute at a time. Whereas single user means only one person can able to execute. Whereas multi-programming means more than one job, more than one work can be processed at the same time here. In multi-programming operating system is the capable of CPU to execute 2 or more programs concurrently. At the same time, all the jobs will execute at the same time. More than one job can execute at the same time here. 2 or more programs are stored concurrently in memory storage and the CPU moves from one program to another, partially executing each in turns. Consider we have job 1, job 2, job 3. All the 3 jobs want to process on CPU. Then simultaneously all the job will go for processing. Depending upon the priority or how much time it wants, depending upon that, all the tasks will be performed here. Early computer system and many personal computers execute program in the order which it is read into the system. Whichever order they given, on that order it will execute the program. But multi-programming means more than one program at a time it can able to execute. Program, multi-jobbing, multi-processing is nothing but multi-programming, more than one program. Multitasking operating system, task means job here. Whereas multitasking operating system allows more than one program to run at a time. More than one program can be executed at a time. 2 or more tasks running at the same time. It does this by dividing system resources among these tasks. Whatever resource we have, that resource will be divided here and simultaneously more than one task can be performed here. Multitasking is usually implemented by code, data of several programs in memory simultaneously and multiplexing process and input-output device among them. Multitasking is also called as context switching operating system. Especially single user means only one person, multi-user means more than one person, multitasking means more than one task, more than one work. Whereas multi-programming means more than one program can be executed at the same time. When we come on multitasking operating system, consider one is Word and one more is email and one more is web browser. All the tasks simultaneously in the operating system, here it will execute and it will transfer that into the CPU. It means that all the work at the same time is performed by this operating system. That is multitasking. Here one task, second task, third task. All the tasks are performed at the same time. That is multitasking operating system. But when you come on multi-user operating system, then what do you mean by this multi-user? In single user, only one person can execute at a time. Whereas multi-user means more than one person can work at the same time by sharing the resources, memory, all those things. At the same time, more than one person can work here. Multi-user operating system allows multiple users on different computers or terminals to access single system with one operating system on it. Only one operating system is there here. On the system only, multiple users are processing here. But when they come on here user 1, user 2, 3, 4, 5, all the users are using same operating system. That is multi-user operating system. It creates and maintains individual user environments, individual authentication and security level privilege provides per user resources. For every user, it will maintain the proper environment. It will provide the resources. It will maintain the security, proper memory management, everything. For each and every user, here it will perform. That is multi-user operating system. Then next class, we will explain you the remaining types of operating system like distributive operating system, network operating system, how exactly this will work, then what are the advantages of this distributed operating system, network operating system, then other functionalities of operating system. Regarding that, next class you will come to know. Thank you for all of you.